You and your parents both make me angry.
Hey, my parents have nothing to do, all right?
Shut up. Don't you dare talk back to me. I will never take care or do anything for your parents ever again. I won't have your parents at any of my family's weddings or funerals. If you don't like that, then get thee out.
Fine, but are you okay with that?
What are you talking about? I'm actually glad that you're leaving. Don't ever contact me again.
As he said that, I confronted my husband down with a piece of paper. The moment my husband saw the paper, surprised.
What? Divorce papers?
My husband was lying on the sofa, up instantly.
Hey, what's the meaning of this? Oh, divorcing me all of a sudden?
My name is Mary Cooper, and I am a 29-year-old company employee. I currently live with my husband, Dave, and our 3-year-old son, Cian. I have been working for my father, S, since I graduated from college, but to my annoyance, my husband is completely against it.
I work for a well-known company. Wouldn't it be embarrassing if people found out that my wife works at a fairly low-paying factory job?
Why would you even say that? When we first got married, you were off to people by saying that I was daughter. Why do you even hate my parents and company my father runs so much these?
You'll never understand, will you? You should just quit your job.
My husband insults me by saying such and tells me to quit working. I think it's cool that my father is always enthusiastic about his work, always challenging himself and always pushing forward. And I respect my father very much because he's a person who cares about his employees. So I have no intention of quitting my father's company at all. It actually seems like my husband likes the fact that I respect my faith more than him. I was thinking how petty Dan was and wondering why he suddenly started saying such horrible things. When I was eating breakfast with my son, my husband said to my son, remembered something.
You know what, Scene? When you grow up, go to a good university and work for a major company. Don't you dare ever get a job at a factory making parts.
I just couldn't believe what Dan was to Scene.
Hey! Don't talk to our child like that.
I said angrily, to which my husband, there's nothing weird about it. I'm teaching him what's normal in the W. Why doesn't he realize that this statement itself is insulting not only to me and myself, but also to the employees who work at the company? I should rather teach Scene not to be an inconsiderate man like his own father. No matter how much I tried to warn him, he kept saying these kinds of things. He seemed to really want me to quit. And my husband continued to say, I'm not going to hurt you anymore, but he kept on hurting me. And then he just quit his job like he had been doing before. Until now, I had wondered why my husband became such a cold and terrible person, hoping that he would at least go back to how he used to be. But since I found out about his affair, it's like he has completely changed. It's not that I haven't considered it, but Dan's parents are very nice people, and not only do I get along with them, but my parents also get along with them very well, which is why I end up hesitating on filing for a divorce, because I do want to cause disappointment to my parents and his because of our divorce. Dan's parents and mine know that my dad and Dan's dad go fishing together often, and my mom and Dan's mom both enjoy the same type of art. And Dan's parents and my parents are very protective and take very good care of him. I felt that it would be wrong to take the environment in which my son, who with so much love and affection was with. That's why I couldn't be brave enough to divorce Dan. But my love and affection I had for my husband is growing more and more dry. I am gradually getting to the point don't even want to sleep with him, sleep with my son in his room. Seeing me being like that, my husband was like that too and tried to force us into the same room with him. But my son started crying a lot, perhaps because of my husband's frustration. He stopped, and He also stopped coming into Scene's room after that. Soon after, my husband and I stopped talking to each other. My husband continued to harass me in order to get me to quit my job. He increased my housework chores by leaving the dishes on the table after eating or leaving his clothes in the bedroom, and on days off when he was home. He would lounge around on the couch watching TV all the time, doing nothing. He also wasted my efforts by going out for drinks with his coworkers even after dinner. And when he sees me, he grins at me. What he's doing is really too childish, and it's appalling. A little while later, my husband Carr looking very happy.
I'm home!
Yes, I know. Welcome home.
Another dull greeting from you, huh? Well, I'll forgive you because mood today.
What made you be in a good mood?
To be honest, I didn't even want to have this conversation going. But since he kept grinning stupidly like that, asked the question, he really had this face, which really annoyed me.
You really want to know? Well, I guess I don't have a choice. I might be promoted to be the head department.
Oh, really? That's great!
I thought that was simply amazing. I congratulated him with genuine feeling, but my husband said something that made me feel down again.
Now like that, you really don't have... Since your husband is the head of the department, you should be quiet at home as a housewife.
I was utterly and completely dumbfounded by what he had said. It seems like in any conversation with him, he'll try to finish the topic before I can even get a word in. Then one day, I took my son to the hospital because he had a fever. And after that, I went to my parents' house before going to work. When I arrive at work, everyone looks a little concerned.
What's going on?
I asked the desk clerk nearby, and he said, "Well, the president is on the phone with his partner right now, and it seems like the president is very angry with him." My father is angry? I was surprised. My father is very gentle and has the toe laugh off at most things. So, for my father to be angry at someone must have been a big deal. I wondered what had happened. I was curious, so I went into his room.
Oh, it's you, Mary. I heard Cian had a fever. Is he okay?
Yeah. The fever is gone now, and he very well now. Anyway, what's wrong? The employees were worried that you were angry, Father.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I heard something very unforgivable.
While my father and I were having the conversation, a young man sitting at his table stood up.
Oh, Justin, long time no see. I heard that your business partner is Caitlin, but I didn't know it was you, Justin.
He is a young employee of his father's company, which does business with his father's company, is a very good-natured kid. Justin had taken over the job from previous person in charge and is charge of our company. And he is a young man who always gifts us with, which is very rare to see these days. But I suddenly had a question in why was my father getting angry at who was a good person?
Father, what do you mean you heard unforgivable?
Well, I'm not sure if it's a mistake or not. But I can see that you have used for instead of form. It should be form instead.
Then, my father explained to me what had told him. Justin works for an electrical goods manufacturer, and just recently he succeeded in developing a new business lead to a project with a major company. While he was working on the project, other employees, thinking about function, asked my company for help in producing assist. So I went to my father's company where he held various meetings to discuss the ABC project. After making steady preparations with the project, it was finally ready to proceed. The boss took away the presentation mat that had been prepared just before, and his boss then took the liberty of making a presentation to the employees and executives and took credit for it. The presentation was accepted by the executives, and his boss might be promoted to be the next department manager. My face grew redder and redder and to get angry. Justin further told me that his boss, the company that makes this part, is trustworthy. So INL ask another con make it for me. The company he said wasn't trustworthy was my father's company. My anger reached its peak.
Oh, I am so sorry, Justin. My husband did something so stupid, terrible.
Hearing this, Justin says, "What?"
Is your boss, Dan Cooper, at the company where you work for?
Yes it is. What? Are you saying that your husband, Mr. Cooper?
When I nodded my head, Justin looked surprised. In other words, that time when my husband was happy that he might be promoted to department head was after he had talked with Justin about his work. I regretted that I had genuinely congratulated him without knowing that.
Never thought Dan would say anything.
When my father said that, felt all a moment. And then my father saw my face.
What's wrong, Mary? Why are you looking like that?
Oh,
Thought that I couldn't hide it any longer. And for the first time, I told my my husband had said and done to me now.
Why didn't you ever tell me that you were being treated that way?
My father told me so, and I explained that I couldn't tell him because Dan's parents were close to mine, and I felt bad taking Scene's grandparents away from them. Hearing that, my father then says, "Worry about that. You don't have to with Dan's parents like that."
My wife and I are already friends with their parents, so we will continue our relationship with them, and it's okay for Scene to see them normally.
Then what my father had said made realize my father was right. It would be easy enough to just stay away from my husband. I wondered why I hadn't realized that it made me feel so much better. But first and foremost, we should praise Justin and his team. What he and his team had worked so create was taken away from them. Many people besides Justin were deeply shocked and depressed.
didn't you think of protesting together?
When I asked Justin about this, he said that he was being held in a weak position. When I asked him further what he meant, he said that Dan had accused Justin and his colleagues in the General Affairs Department of violating work hours and rules. As a result, Justin was dropped from the project, which became a threat to other employees. Both my father and I were appalled.
I guess Dan needs to be punished once.
My father said that quietly, but I sensed that there was a great deal won, his heart. Then my father and I, together with other employees from his team, have regular strategy meetings. They were all upset and afraid because their husband had threatened them. But now they are united and eager to get back at him. And we all decided to search together for evidence of how the project was created. We were not able to find the evidence, but Justin and his team members did their best to find it. Justin also told the person in charge project from a major company about situation. The person in charge was a very nice guy, and he brought his boss to Justin's and told the executives and the president of the company about the situation. As a result, it became known to the executives that my husband was not involved in the project at all. My husband apparently complained Justin and his team are violating the hours. And to that, the employees, well, in that case, we will quit. The executives were very upset about, since it was obvious that it was Dar, the executives agreed to take disciplinary action against him. In the end, my husband was demoted from section manager to an ordinary employee, even had to transfer to a small department rather than being promoted to a department. Because he had done something terrible, he lost the company's trust. On the day he was being demoted, I was waiting for Dan at home. He came home looking dismayed.
Well, I'm not in the mood to talk to you right now. Maybe some other time?
With that, my husband lies down on.
Well, I need to talk to you.
Shut the hell up. I'm tired. How selfish are you?
I don't need you to tell me what to do.
What? What the hell? Are you arguing back to me?
Besides, your parents are my parent friends. Remember, knowing that. Why do you say such terrible things about my parents?
Don't you dare talk back to me. I will never take care of or do anything for your parents ever again. I won't have your parents at any of family's weddings or funerals. If you don't like that, then get out.
My husband was quite distressed and things to me, as if he was trying all his anger out on me. But what he said was out of the line.
What you talking about? I'm actually glad that you're leaving. Don't ever contact me again.
As he said that, T confronted my husband, Dan, with a piece of paper. The moment my husband saw the paper, surprise.
What is the difference between a web designer and a web developer? Divorce papers.
My husband was lying on the sofa. He jumped up immediately.
Hey, what's the meaning of this? You're divorcing me all of a sudden.
You betrayed me. So divorce is what get. Don't you think so?
Hey, wait a minute. Betrayed you? You mean to say that I betrayed saying horrible things about your past? Are you crazy enough to divorce me?
That doesn't matter anymore. This is why I'm asking for a divorce.
With that, I spread out a document on the table in an envelope. It was photos of evidence that my husband was having an affair with a woman I had never met.
Hey, how come you know?
You look like you're having a great here.
This is different. It was just an impulse.
I don't care if it was an impulse or a serious one. The fact that you had an affair will not go away. Divorce is absolute, child support absolute, alimony is absolute, and be no division of property. If you don't agree with these conditions, you're going to hell.
What do you mean?
You apparently met this girl at a bar, but she's a high school student.
What? You have to be joking, right? She didn't even look that young.
It's true. I hired an investigator to look into what you were up to, and everything came out. And according to the investigation, is a high school sophomore student. Cheating on your own wife alone is disgusting. But if the world finds with a high school student, you're doomed for life. And normally you'd...
Wait a minute. I'll agree to all the terms of the so, please. Just don't say anything this, please.
Fine. I don't like people saying that my father was arrested for such a disgusting reason. And I know that high school girl anyway.
Yes, the high school girl who sat next to him at the bar had been smoking. So I told the girl and her parents that we would report them to the school if they did not pay the fine. I heard that the girl went to a private all-girls high school. And if they find out, she would be expelled. So the girl and her parents apologized and paid me $40,000, saying they hoped I wouldn't do that. And my husband, who was afraid of getting arrested, paid me $50,000 in alimony and over $100,000 in child support. All of Dave's savings were now gone, was left penniless. But the fact that Dave was having an affair with a high school student somehow spread as a rumor in the workplace, and he began to be looked upon differently. But since he has no money at all, he keeps working and combined with the not knowing when he will be exposed to his illegal activities. He now looks very old for his age, or not looking like he's in his 30s. He deserves what he got. Dan's parents apologized to me and for the divorce and the fact that to force me to quit my job, a long W affair. But since it was only Dan's fault, parents and I were nice to Dan's. Par told them not to apologize, and to P continued to be in good terms with E. Dan's parents were so angry with him that they eventually disowned him. I have no intention of letting Dan in the future. And now, because of what you've done, Dan is completely alone. By the way, Justin and his team worked on the project, and it was a great success. Both my father and I were very happy able to help Justin by providing a... I returned home with my son, and now I'm working hard as a single mother. Now that I am back home, at my parents' house. Dan, parents are happy to see my parents, who are friends, all together. I hope to continue enjoying my family connections other than my ex.
Taking credit for his colleagues, he making fun of his wife's family and added off he had an affair.
He is a scumbag husband who can only be described as nothing but a scumbag.
I'm glad that he was finally punished.
I hope Mary will have a great time with her parents, Dan's parents, and her son.
Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.